This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jeff Malinoff, and with me is Mark Souza.
Yes.
Yes.
The man who loves obnoxious bat flips.
Yeah, seriously. Where you launch the bat into the moon.
I'll tell you right now, if I hit a walk-off home run like in a Major League game, it could be like 30 minutes before I cross the home plate.
You would get in so many fights.
But if it was a walk-off, everybody else can leave the field, you know? Like, the other team doesn't have to wait for me.
But just at least jog.
Oh, like, I jog, but then I'd start jogging backwards, and then I'd start, like,
you would piss people
dancing,
off.
And then I'd probably dab, like, 37 times, and then I'd probably, what's the
You'd be released by the time you hit
I don't know
home
all
plate.
the kids' dances nowadays, but what's the, you know?
I know what you're talking about, and I'm not going to say it because you shouldn't learn it. Anyways.
Just tell me what it is so I can YouTube after this segment, but if you could tell me in the break.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
But yeah, I love obnoxious bat flips and home run celebrations and touchdowns. So everything obnoxious in sports, sign me up.
Anyways, you're like the opposite of my dad. He hates that stuff.
Oh, your dad's old school then.
My dad played in the 70s.
Is your dad's middle name Madison?
No.
Madison Bumgarner.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, because he hates when people have
my
fun.
dad was a defensive end when your job was to forearm and break the nose of the defensive end.
That's fine.
Yeah. Or to break the nose of the tight end, sorry. Anyways, we have a lot to talk about. We got basketball to talk about first, but then we're going into the NFL playoffs. We got the divisional round matchups, and then we'll talk about anything else that needs to be talked about, but those are the two main ones. We'll talk about the NBA first. I think we got to talk about the best game of yesterday was the double overtime game between San Antonio and Oklahoma City, where LaMarcus Aldridge had 56 points in a great game.
Career high, I believe.
Yes, it was a career high. If it wasn't a career high, that means his career high is really up there. But the game ended 154 to 147.
That's the only way a Spurs team can score that many points, is if they go to double overtime.
Yeah, but Westbrook himself had a pretty good game. 24 points, 13 rebounds, 24 assists.
You're going to get a lot of big numbers in a game like this. He had 50 minutes played.
The NBA record is 30 assists.
That's pretty nuts.
He was close.
24-20. That is a crazy triple-double right there.
Yeah. And Paul George had 30 points himself, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. When you look at the box score, you see 24 assists, and then you just see ones. And it just looks really out of place.
Imagine scoring 19 points.
It's like someone made a typo. Oops, I put 24 points instead of rebounds.
Imagine scoring 19 points, and you're the 5th leading scorer on your team.
Yes. You mean Steven Adams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the other side, though. Aldridge, 56. That obviously sticks out.
Yeah, Gasol played for 16 minutes. I think he came off injured. I'm not sure what exactly went down.
Yeah.
But he had no points.
How did he have no field goal attempts?
In 16 minutes. That's interesting.
Seems impossible.
Yeah. But DeRozan had a double-double himself, 16 points, 11 assists. But, like I said, the story goes to Aldridge, 56 points on 33 shots.
Mm-hmm.
9 rebounds, 4 assists. Went to the line 16 times, made all 16 free throws, no threes.
Mm-hmm.
And he blocked 4 shots.
It's a big early season game, you know,
Yeah.
because both these teams right now are in the playoffs. Like if playoffs started today, they'd both be in the West. But
I can't wait till they play each other again. It must be in a couple months from now, right?
How about 24 hours? About 35 hours from right now, actually.
Yeah, seriously. They're playing tomorrow at 5 p.m. on NBA TV, so check that out for the rematch.
It always cracks me up in basketball when teams play each other back-to-back, but they travel. They have to go to the other
city.
arena.
Yeah.
Like, it always cracks me up. It's like,
just stay there.
I feel like even if I was the away team, there might be a time or two where I would just want to play there and just get it over with and then go home, you know?
Well, one of the most crucial things about this game, Russell Westbrook went 0 from 4 from 3. And if he makes 2 of those, then it's 156, 154.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge thing to talk about. I know he's not known for his 3-point shooting, but you got to make one because that would have changed the whole course of this game.
Yeah, I mean, he also had 24 assists, so.
Yeah, No, I'm not downplaying the 24 assists. I'm just saying, there's a little weak point there. That's yeah.
Are you criticizing Russell Westbrook?
I just said he had one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, but it seems a little weird that you just wanted to point that out.
Well, because you look at it, it's 147, 154. I just did the math.
You know, Jeff, some people would say that that's some hater mentality right there.
I just said I liked.
Some people would say that. I'm not saying everybody.
I just said I was very impressed by his 24 assists. That was awesome.
All right, just making sure.
You're
getting a little out of line here.
I'm just stating the facts.
You're stating the facts and giving an opinion.
No, just the facts.
Yeah, no, I mean, you talked about his threes. That was an opinion that you had.
He went 0 for 4.
Uh-huh, that's a fact.
If he made 2 of them, it's 156 to 157.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a fact.
So, yeah.
That's kind of a fact, but...
It is a fact.
The 0 for 4 part was a fact for sure.
Yeah, I'm just stating facts.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
And opinions.
I know,
that's
facts.
the point here. If we were just stating facts, no one would listen. People could look at a box score for facts.
There are flat people. Just admit it. I'm kidding. Totally freaking kidding.
Flat people?
Flat earthers?
No. They said flat people. I was like...
Dude, have you seen, Twitter and Facebook and all those and Instagram posts about, Earth is flat comments? Because some people, it's aggravating.
I like the meme that says there are flat earthers all around the globe.
Oh, that was the Twitter. That was the Twitter handler of the Flat Earth Society.
That's a great.
That is
tweet.
my all-time favorite quote because every time someone talks about Flat Earth, I'm like the guy who runs
the globe.
Yeah, the guy who runs the Flat Earth Society page said that we have members all around the globe. He just contradicted himself in the biggest way possible.
That is pretty funny.
If he said across the world, that's different. But he said around the world.
He did. This is true.
Yes, and the fact is. If the Earth was flat, where would the end be? And wouldn't we see below outer space?
It's actually being guarded by military. So
is that what they say?
You'll never get there.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
President Trump would totally blurt that out. Are you kidding?
You want to know a funny tweet that I saw yesterday?
What?
My friend gave birth in her car on the way to the hospital, and her husband named the kid...
I'm really scared what the name is now.
My friend gave birth in her car on the way to the hospital, and her husband named the kid Carson. And if you don't think that's the best,
God.
If you don't think that's the best dad joke ever, get out of my face.
Wow, I'm going to give him an applause on
Carson,
that one.
Get it?
Carson. I know what I got.
God, that's fantastic.
Easy, but I think that's fantastic.
What? Did you just repeat what I said?
I agreed with you. I said I agree. It's fantastic.
Oh, I thought you said easy. That's fantastic. Oh,
no.
I'll keep my eye on you today. You're acting a little bit weird. What did you eat last night? Did you take any drugs?
What are you talking about?
Did you take any medication before you went to bed?
No.
What else happened in the NBA? Feed it to me, my friend. Tell me what the Nuggets did.
The Nuggets won by 21 points against the Clippers.
That's a blowout.
It is a blowout.
They had a big first quarter. Triple-double for Jokic. That dude's a beast.
Jokic, yeah, he's a beast. He's the best player on their team.
I think he, honestly, I know we talked about this yesterday in our basketball podcast. Like, we talked about MVPs. I'm not saying he's the MVP, but I think that he should, right now, he deserves a vote. Like, if there was a voting,
he deserves consideration.
He deserves someone to applaud and kind of, I don't know, put light on what he's done this year because
he should be recognized for his efforts.
My goodness, he is so good. 18, 14, and 10 last
We'll give
night.
him an Employee of the Month plaque.
This is a center, dude. Listen to these numbers: 18, 14, and 10. That's like a Russell Westbrook game, or like a point guard that can triple double every other night. Dude, he's a center, and he runs the offense. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
Their point guard had 2 assists. He had 10.
He point guard.
He does. He's the
guard.
assist leader on their team by far. Isn't that?
And he's the center.
Yeah, they run everything through him. It's awesome to watch. I think he's great. He's a fantastic NBA player. He is so skilled for a big man. It's unbelievable. How good are the Denver Nuggets? 28-12.
They're all right.
They're all right, huh?
I'm kidding. They're really good.
Number 1 in the West.
They might, if
Mike Malone might be coach of the year so far.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
If we get to a 7-game series between...
The answer is no.
I was gonna say I was gonna say something
No, you
else.
weren't. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You're lying.
So you still think the Warriors are better?
The Warriors would beat them in a 7-game series in May. Absolutely.
In how many games?
6.
Okay, so
Maybe
you get
5. But I got to see how DeMarcus Cousins plays.
It sounds like you don't give them much of a chance.
Well, let's put it this way. What makes the Nuggets unique?
They're from Denver.
Come on. Like, their team.
Their center is their point guard.
Sure. But at the same time,
They really don't have anyone else.
the Warriors can put Draymond Green on him, and Draymond can do a good job defensively. But here's the kicker. What if DeMarcus Cousins comes back and he's anywhere near? Then he could arguably be the most skilled center on the court with Jokic out there. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is pretty.
It kind of negates what they're good at, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. The Nuggets, they've been fantastic. I don't even think any of their fans thought they'd be this good at this point, right? Halfway through the year, number 1 team in the West.
I don't think anyone had them in the top 8 or considered them to be in the top 5.
I think I had them in the playoffs, but not
this high.
No one did.
No. Of course not.
No one. And if you're out there listening and you say, yeah, I did.
You are a fan.
You can tweet me at Mark Hella Gets It. Yeah, Mark with a C. Hella, like California, gets it. Like I know what I'm doing.
You really need to change that. You're 33.
That
man.
is a beautiful name. Every time I say that I'm going to change it, somebody says you better not. That is amazing. So why would I change it?
Because you're 33.
So what's your point?
I don't know, maturity.
So what if your
future
what's your excuse?
What if your future children?
What's your excuse for not having a cool Twitter handle?
I just think it's easier to find me.
Oh, all right.
Isn't it?
You the only Jeff Malinoff in the world? Because I'm the only Mark Hella Gets It.
Last time I checked, every time you type in my name, I pop up before anyone else. There was only one.
But it's you typing it. What if somebody from Ireland?
There was only one Jeff Malinoff I saw that's around the world, and he was an 80s minor league player, and I believe he's dead.
Whoa.
I could be wrong, though.
Well, this turned heavy.
No, just stating facts.
You're still stating facts over there?
I was just saying he might.
Maybe the next segment will be
here.
Jeff stating facts, and we'll just have a segment on
2 plus
stating.
2 equals 6. Continue.
Those are alternative facts. Zing. See that politics joke right there?
Yeah.
I sneaked that one in.
That's
you can't get mad about that.
not-
Everybody thinks that's funny.
Let's not be political here.
Everybody thinks that's funny. Alternative facts is a funny term.
Yeah.
How about the Heat and the Celtics?
What about them?
What'd they do?
Whole lot of nothing.
Miami got to 500. They put a nice little whooping on Boston right
to
there.
95. Yeah, they actually had 2 players fighting at one point. Morris and
the Celtics?
yeah, Morris and Jaylen Brown got into it.
What were they fighting about?
I don't know. They were just on the sidelines after on a timeout. They were talking. All of a sudden, Morris pushes Brown, and they just I really it was just like this. Like I'm pushing him like how he's and that was it.
Interesting. So did they have to be separated or anything like that?
Yeah, they were separated. A couple of players went in between them.
I will admit, I did not see this. I saw some of the highlights, but I did not hear about this.
This was like doing a commercial break, apparently. Someone recorded.
I'm trying to read about
it. It was
this.
mainly recorded from the check Bleacher Report. It's probably on there. It was recorded from someone sitting behind them.
I think the Heat should permanently go to those Miami Vice colors. The pink, black, the light
I
blue.
100% agree. They should change everything.
The pink uniforms are dope.
They are. They should change from red to pink. They should make everything Miami Vice colors. That should be their no more red.
Dude,
it's too generic.
It's so good, man. The blue too. They could even have a third jersey where it's blue.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Kings blue, like the Kings throwback
powder blue.
Yeah, but they could totally do this, man. Like they could have a white one, a black one, and a pink one, or a white, black, and blue. I don't know, but there's a lot they could do with those colors. I love the uniforms they roll out with that.
If they make those the permanent color and change the logo to their color scheme, I would love that. Because red is really boring.
Change the Heat logo from the red basketball to like a pink, like a neon pink basketball.
What they do during the when they change.
Is that what they do? They do it pink.
It's hot pink and little powder blue. Yeah.
For the Heat logo.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's cool.
Oh, it's awesome looking.
Dude, they should totally do that. Why don't they do that?
I don't know.
I'll tell you right now. If I was a Miami Heat fan, I'd rock all their gear. Like if they had a black. With neon,
all their Miami Vice gear.
Yeah. If they had a black hat.
They probably already do.
Like a black hat with a pink Miami or pink Heat, probably Miami and like script. Oh. I'm 33, I'd rock it.
I think everyone would rock it, so.
You'd look kind of funny in it, though.
Why me?
Because if you wore a black hat with pink
I look
text on
good
the
in
front,
pink.
I think that would look funny on you.
I like what I look in pink. I like how I look in
I'm not
pink.
saying you can't wear pink. I just think that hat would look funny.
Let me live my life, damn it.
We had another game. One last game in the NBA last night. Sacramento, man. They've had a rough stretch after a good start. They're now 21-21. They're right on the cusp of the last seed in the West, but this thing is heating up, so they could find themselves dropping out sooner than later. 112-102. Detroit did not have Blake Griffin. I think that's kind of the story of the game. How crazy is it, though? If you're Detroit, they're 17-23, Jeff, and they are right outside the playoffs. They're 6 games under, and yet a playoff spot is within their grasp. Isn't that crazy?
It's pretty surreal.
Whereas the Kings are 21-21, and
there's a lot of
they're 2 games out.
There's a lot of unexpected playoff teams around us.
Let me say this to you. The Pistons are 17-23 and are 2 games out. The Kings are 21-21 and are 2 games out.
That just shows how superior the West.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
If Detroit was in the West, I want you to think about this carefully. They're 17-23. If Detroit was in the West, would they be better than the Phoenix Suns?
Yes.
You know why I ask you that?
Because their schedule will be Western Conference instead of Eastern Conference.
And they only have 7 more wins than the Suns. The Detroit would be the second worst team.
They would have like 12, 13 wins.
God, isn't that funny? They'd have 12 or 13. I agree with you. I think they'd have about 13. I think that's the number. 13 wins we would project them to have at this point if they played in the West, right?
Yeah.
It's actually unbelievable.
That's accurate.
Not a lot of action in the NBA, but you know what?
There was the whole Spurs Thunder game that was mainly talked about.
Double OT, pretty good. I did want to tell you though, there's some good NBA games this weekend. I know that everybody's probably going to be full on their slate with football. We got playoffs this week. We'll be talking about that in the next segment. The next 2 segments will be NFL talk, but we'll break down all the games next segment. But for all the NBA fans out there, tonight, Mavericks and T-Wolves play. It's the first game at home for the T-Wolves since they fired Thibodeau. So Ryan Saunders will be making his home debut as the head coach of the Timberwolves. It's a winnable game. They did win their first game with him as coach. They're 1-0. It could be. I think it'll be a nice little. I'm interested in seeing what kind of reception he gets because he is Flip Saunders' son.
We'll see.
I think it'll be good. Also, we mentioned it tomorrow, Saturday. Spurs at Thunder. So they get to do this whole song and dance again. Do you think we'll see another overtime thriller?
It's going to be a quadruple overtime. Aldridge will have 75 points.
The Spurs and Thunder.
No, it's obviously not going to happen. So.
This time the Thunder will win in double overtime, and then both teams will be so tired that they lose the next 3 games, and then they'll split these.
They lose
1-1.
out the season because they're so exhausted from this 2 games.
I got a good game for you Sunday, though, if you're not watching football all day. Portland at Denver.
That's an interesting game.
Yeah, interesting to say the least. But we got to go to a quick break. But before I do that, I want to talk to you a little bit about audiobooks. because audiobooks inspires us, motivates us, and brings us closer. And there's no better place to listen than with Audible. Get your first audiobook free along with 2 selected Audible original titles and exclusive fitness programs when you start a 30-day trial. So take the time to listen on Audible. All you got to do is visit audible.com/GSMCbook or text the code GSMCbook to 500-500 to get started today on that free 30-day trial. We'll be right back.
What happens to your decision-making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by Washington Target Syrup.
Welcome back, everyone, to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We talked about the NBA. Now, let's get into some playoffs. NFL playoffs, divisional round matchups.
What kind of voice was that?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I'm just messing with you, man. I'm going to give you crap all day. I hope
Why?
you're ready for it. You know
Did
why?
you not have coffee today?
You know what? No, I've had too much.
That's the reason?
Coffee, not a
I
problem.
already get enough from my older brothers. I don't need you
Look,
as
man,
well.
I'm not giving you crap because I don't like you. I'm giving you crap because like I like it. You know, like when you know how like your friends you give crap to.
You mean that?
Oh God, I shouldn't have said anything.
Hey,
Stop touching me.
You're my friend.
Stop touching me.
You're my friend too.
You're
my friend, man.
Anyways, you know how like you know like how human beings we always hurt the ones we love the most.
What?
You know?
What do you? Okay, now what are you getting at?
You know, like how you treat the people close to you like mean because like you're so comfortable and it's just like.
Do you treat
rude.
your wife like that?
I mean, as human beings, we all do it, even when we think, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that." Right? Yeah, of course. There are times where you're more mean to your significant other than you should be because you love them, and or your parents or your siblings, right? Don't you and your siblings ever get in a fight and then you're like, dude, we're brothers, right? Like,
I've wanted to hurt my brother before, yeah.
I've wanted to hurt, and I've hurt my sister before. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
When we were kids, I used to make her play sports with me, and she didn't want to.
I have I've made my brother's nose bleed with a wrestling hold one time, actually multiple times, because
Which hold was this?
It was a crossface, so I grabbed their face and I just pushed their nose down until it bleeds.
Dude, you love wrestling.
I really do.
Does your brother?
My middle brother actually used to, and that's how I got into it.
And then you messed him up, and now he doesn't like it.
No, he does not like it at all, and I'm into it, and it's because of him though.
All right, that makes sense. That's what usually happens, right? Like you learn or you like start to like things because you're older brothers.
If you are a wrestling fan, I'll just say I'm a huge smark, as in a smart mark, which means I'm a smart fan.
Smark? Is that like me with a s'more?
Well, no,
like you want
a mark means like you believe everything is happening is real, like it's authentic. But if you're a smart mark, you it's all choreographed, and you know the storylines, and you know the behind the scenes.
Is
stuff,
that Mark with a K or a C?
It's with a K.
Oh, then it's dummy. All right, we got to talk about football. I don't think anybody wants to listen. They didn't tune in to listen to wrestling talk. Let's talk about the divisional round. Saturday, Colts at Chiefs. We're going to kick this thing off. Dude, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think this is going to be a good game. I know we talked last week. I feel like everything we talked about last week, I mean, like I got 3 of the 4 right, but I still thought the games didn't really go the way that I thought they were going to go.
They were kind of disappointing, to be completely
They were all
honest.
low scoring for what we expected, right?
What was the highest scoring game?
I believe it was the Cowboys game, Seahawks, 46 points, 24-22.
That's pretty low, too.
Wasn't it? Because the Bears-Eagles was in the teens. The Colts was 21-7.
Yeah.
And the Chargers game was 24-17. Is that right? 24-17?
Yeah, so 22-24 sounds about right.
All right. So Colts at Chiefs. This is projected to be the highest scoring game. The over-under is 57.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see happening in this game? Colts are underdogs. Excuse me. The Chiefs are favored by 5.5 as of this morning.
I understand that. It's at home, and they're 12-4.
Also, something you should know: they expect snow
in Kansas City.
Oh yeah, it snows there.
Didn't
it kind of snow there last year against the Titans in the playoffs?
I don't think it snowed.
Oh, it snows, but they expect snow. So 5.5, 5 points, depending on where you look. What do you think is going to happen?
Do you know, in the 1995 divisional round matchup between these two in Kansas City, there was 4 or 5 missed field goals combined.
All right.
And the final score was 10-7 because Lynn Elliott missed
So do you think that that's going to happen again? We have some good kickers. Vinatieri.
Oh, I thought you were being ironic.
No,
sarcastic.
in this game, Harrison Butker, the Chiefs kicker, is really good.
You just jinxed him.
And Vinatieri.
All right, I'm calling this right now.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen, be honest with me, I know he has, but have you personally ever remember seeing Vinatieri miss a field goal?
No, I haven't.
I know he's probably missed 30 field goals in his career, but
you just jinxed Kansas City. They're going to lose off a missed field goal now.
Why? I said Harrison Butker's really good.
That's a jinx.
But so is Vinatieri. Vinatieri's even better.
Vinatieri is just Vinatieri.
He just doesn't miss. He doesn't have the leg anymore as much as Butker, but he doesn't miss.
He's cold-blooded.
Or is he Colt-blooded?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm
Anyways.
here all night, folks.
What I'm going to say is this game is going to be close, but I might have to give it to the better defense. And that's the Colts.
You're not going to take the Colts.
I'm taking the Colts, man. They handled the Texans extremely well.
I was taking the Colts all week, and you had to steal my thunder.
Were you really?
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts.
Oh, we both are. I thought you were taking the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are the obvious pick.
But they have.
I like what the Colts are doing.
They've had multiple one-and-done runs when they've been the number 1 seed, especially in the 90s. So it's hard to trust this team. My dad was like, "It doesn't matter," but I'm like, history sometimes affects the outcomes of these games. And when Kansas City's been the number 1 seed, they have never. They usually are one and done. They don't make it to the conference championship.
Does it bother you though that the Colts defense? Yes, they're good. And they had a really good game last week. But does it bother you that they haven't played the best quarterbacks this year? Their defense might be a little inflated. And they are going to see a Kansas City team with Mahomes and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill.
This is his first playoff game, though, for Patrick Mahomes. So we don't know exactly how he'll handle it.
All right, so what do you think the score will be?
All right, how about that? Well, let me tell you this. I'll tell you both the Colts and the Chiefs playoff history.
No. I don't want to get into it. What do you think the score is going to be?
Why not?
Well, because we got to talk about the other games. We can talk about the history, but how far back are you going to go?
I'm just going to say their record.
Okay, their overall record?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They're 9-18.
But does any of that stuff matter today?
Yes, it does.
Whatever you're saying.
Okay. Divisional round, they're 2-8.
Right, but
that matters.
None of that stuff matters unless it's the current team.
No.
I don't care what the Chiefs or Colts did in 1995. I want to know what they've done in the last. I want to know what this group of players and these coaches have done in the last 5-6 years.
Well, okay,
right?
the last 2 years they've lost.
Sure,
wild card in divisional.
But what have the Colts done in that time?
They went to the AFC title game.
When?
20 was it? What was the Deflate game? Deflate Gate.
It's been a while.
It was somewhere.
That was a long time ago, though.
That was not a long time ago.
Deflategate?
That was 2014.
Yeah, and how many of those players are still on the team for the Colts?
I would say a handful.
15, maybe, at the most.
That's a lot still.
And not the same coach? Anyways, that doesn't mean anything to me.
I'm just saying sometimes
what do you think is going to happen in this game?
Factor in these games. I say the Colts will win this by a score of 24-21 with a missed field goal to end it. I'm standing by that.
I can't believe you took the Colts. I should have went first.
I would have went the Colts either way.
I got the Colts winning. I got a higher scoring game than that. I do have the Colts. I know everybody's probably freaking out, but Look, I think the Colts are going to be able to run the football. I don't think that Andrew Luck's going to get sacked in this game. That offensive line put a pounding on Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt. They were non-factors. The Chiefs simply cannot rush the passer. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the run. Do I think the Chiefs will score points? Absolutely. I think this will be the highest scoring game of the weekend. I have the Colts winning this game by a score of 33-30.
33-30.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to the Cowboys and Rams.
Right. Rams, Cowboys, Cowboys.
Todd Gurley off the injury report. He will be good to go. He will play. What do you see happening in this game?
I am kind of surprised to say this, but give me the Rams.
Why are you surprised?
Because
they're a 7-point favorite.
This team has not looked good going into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They've won games, sure, but they don't look like the team that went 8-0.
Are you worried that Gurley was still injured this week and hasn't played in 3 weeks?
That's one of my main concerns, yes.
All right, so you think the Rams will win by...
I think he's desperate to come back for this playoff game, and I understand that, but the fact is he might not be 100%. And if he's not, that's going to be a huge difference in the game.
The Rams will win by what score?
Let's go 31-24.
31-24, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That would be 7 points. That would be what exactly the spread is. That would be a push. Yeah. I like the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have a good matchup. I think the Cowboys have a much better chance to win this game than they do against the Saints if they were to be facing the Saints. Fortunately for them, I feel like this might be a home game for Dallas because of the crowd. We know how LA can be. When the Rams played the Packers and the Eagles earlier this year, it looked like it was a home game for those two away teams. I fully expect that crowd to be 60% Dallas. I fully expect it to be more than half. With that being said, I think the Cowboys will be forced to throw the football. I think Wade Phillips will definitely focus on the run game. I know a lot has been made all week about the Rams' lack of defensive rushing. Them against the run, they're not very good. And I think it's because they can play a little bit undisciplined at the line of scrimmage with guys like Sue, guys like Aaron Donald. But I think they'll fix it enough to.
They are more pass rusher than they are run.
They'll fix it enough to make Dak beat them. I think the Rams' passing attack will cause a lot of frustrations for the Dallas secondary. So I like the Rams in this game. I don't think it'll be a blowout whatsoever. I think the Cowboys could cover. So I'm going to go. You said 31-24. I think we'll see a score of 27-24 Rams.
So a field goal.
Mm-hmm. I think the Cowboys will cover.
Fascinating.
All right. Chargers at Pats.
I'm going to go Chargers on this one.
Chargers at Pats. Chargers are a 4-point underdog. You like the Chargers on the road.
I personally think that the Chargers are the better team.
Does it factor in that they are on the road?
No, not because they're better on the road, it feels like.
Okay. So what do you think the score might be in this game? Tell me what you see.
I don't see the Patriots actually making this a close one. Give me a 38-21 victory.
38-21 Chargers, huh?
Yeah.
So you're telling me right now that a Phillip Rivers Chargers team is going to go on the road and blow out a Tom Brady Patriots team in the playoffs.
This Patriots team is a shadow of its former self, so yes.
You keep saying this.
And I'll be proven right when the Chargers win.
But they're 11-5. It's not like the Patriots are chopped liver.
Okay, add, let's see, 2 Jets, 2 Bills, and 2 Dolphins.
Well, they lost the Dolphins once.
Oh, yeah, off a miracle
They were basically a miracle play away from having the same record as the Chargers, interesting enough.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think you're crazy. 17
Everyone
points.
else, my therapist does also. What's your point?
I like the Patriots to win this game. I know a lot's been made about the Chargers. They might actually be the better team, but the fact is they're on the road. And you like to talk about history, right? You brought up history. What's Chargers history in the playoffs?
I can look that up. Definitely.
What's Phillip Rivers' history in the playoffs? What's Tom Brady's history in the playoffs?
Okay, well, you know Tom Brady's history, okay?
But you're sitting here telling me about the Colts and Chiefs history. Why aren't you using the same argument for the Patriots and Chargers? That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, I completely agree with you. But the fact is,
Something will change this week.
there's something about this that, like, this is a revenge game almost. Because this team has faced each other in the conference championship, and they lost to the Patriots, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
And that was during their undefeated season. So, and that game ended when, remember, Rivers had a torn ACL that game, too. He was playing on a torn ACL.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to say that this is a game Phillip Rivers needs to win. This is Phillip Rivers has momentum. And
All right.
Yeah.
I actually have the Patriots winning 27-24. I like the Chiefs or the Chargers to cover. I actually like the underdogs a lot this week in terms of betting purposes, but I do expect the Patriots to pull off the win. I think their kicking situation is slightly better with Gostkowski over the young Badgley, who's kicking for the Chargers. He's been pretty good, but he also has never been in this type of situation. The Patriots at home are just a different beast. I know they don't really win pretty. I expect them to have a very heavy ball control type offense. 27-24 Pats. All right, let's move on to the last game. Sunday night, or actually, well, is it Sunday night? No, it's Sunday afternoon. It's the afternoon game on Fox. Eagles and Saints. This is the biggest underdog. The Eagles are an 8-point underdog, the biggest underdog of the weekend. Nick Foles has to go into New Orleans, into the Superdome. Nick Foles, I understand he won the Super Bowl last year, but I think this is the hardest game he's ever had to play is this week. Even harder than the Super Bowl. I truly mean that because it was a neutral site.
yeah, but the Saints are so good.
So, are you taking Nick Foles? Are you going to bet against him?
I don't know.
He's your boy.
Yeah, he's from my college. I get that. He's a boy of mine.
Oh my gosh, you have to take the Eagles, right?
But I don't. No, I don't. That's not true. Want to. The Saints are so good, though.
So what is it going to be, Jeffrey?
First of all, don't call me Jeffrey. Only people that
Jeffrey.
know.
What's your middle name?
You have to know me.
What's your middle name?
Young.
So
You want to call me Young?
Your middle name is Young?
Yeah.
Well, when I get mad at you, I can call you Jeffrey Young.
My mom's maiden name.
All right, so go ahead.
But if you only people that know me for an X amount of years can call me Jeffrey.
All right, Jeffrey.
Okay, yeah, you gotta stop. I'm dead serious.
All right, Joffrey.
Oh, I hate that too. Please
Come
stop.
on.
I'm begging you to stop.
Start talking.
I'm giving the Saints on this one, but I'm gonna go 35-17.
So you think they will crush them?
Their defense is superior. Their offense is superior.
Also, do you remember what happened when these two teams played a few weeks back?
Remind me.
41-point win for New Orleans.
Yeah. So
I like that too. I once again probably should have went first because I think the Saints will win. I do think they'll win by at least 10 points. I think we're looking at a score of 31-20 Saints. This could be the highest scoring game. It really could. What game do you expect to be the most exciting, and which game do you expect to be the least exciting?
Most exciting will be Chargers, Patriots. Least exciting will be Saints,
really?
Eagles.
I am surprised by that. I have Chargers, Patriots being the least exciting.
Really?
Yeah, because the Patriots, I guarantee you, they're going to just ball control this whole game and be boring and just first down. I guarantee you that's their offensive approach. They will just move the chains. They'll run the ball a lot. They'll try and make this such a slow football game, I think. Most exciting, I'll tell you what. If we get snow on the field for Colts Chiefs, that's going to be the most exciting. That'll be the most fun game of the weekend.
Mm-hmm. This one just has so much backstory to it.
I feel like the Cowboys-Rams could be exciting. Wade Phillips is also an interesting story. You know, he used to be coach of the Cowboys. So, but, yeah, I got Colts-Chiefs being the most exciting to kick us off. Do you expect these games to be more fun than last week?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you think we'll have an ending that is better than a double doink?
Not that
No, definitely not.
Not that kind of comedy.
All right. Well, we probably should go to a break before
Yes, we should.
go into the next segment.
Okay, something just fell over. Sorry about that, people. But I got to ask you something. What would it like if we all just listen more? Audiobooks inspire us, motivate us, even bring us closer. And there's no better place to listen to it than Audible. Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, and now Audible members get more than ever before. Each month, they get 3 titles of their choice. 1 audiobook, 2 Audible originals, and fitness programs they can't get anywhere else. There's never been a better time to experience Audible. Try it free for 30 days by visiting audible.com/GSMCbook or by texting the code GSMCbook to 500500. Remember, if you want a 30-day trial for Audible, go to audible.com/GSMCbook or text the code GSMCbook to 500500.
What happens to your decision-making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by Washington Target Zero.
Welcome back, everyone, to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We finished predicting our divisional round matchups, and now we are moving on. What's on the agenda next, Mark?
So Antonio Brown's been in the news a lot lately.
Shocker.
So team president Art Rooney told
The second, we should think.
Art Rooney, team president Art Rooney. There's only one of them.
Well, because the first one died.
Sure. All right, can I finish, or
No.
are you going to interrupt me again?
I might. We'll see.
The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, he told them that all options are on the table regarding Antonio Brown. He said that we won't release him, but we'll look at all the options. We're not going to release him, but I will say all other options are on the table. Whether the situation can be reconciled and we have him back on the team next year, we're a long way from thinking that can happen. We're not closing the door on anything at this point. So, obviously, it looks like this relationship might be heading towards a divorce, like Jeff Bezos, right? See that pop culture reference I just threw in there? Do you know that when the guy who owns Amazon is getting a divorce, when him and his wife divorce, she'll become the 4th richest person in the world? Isn't that nuts?
That's insane.
That's absolutely nuts.
Talk about a win-win.
Anyways, not to get completely off track here, but talk to me what you think about Antonio Brown and the Steelers, and do you think that the writing is on the wall and he will not be a Steeler in 2019?
I don't think he's going to be with the Steelers in 2019. I really don't.
How hard is it to trade a wide receiver who has 6 100-catch seasons in a row?
Difficult. What is that? Why would you ask me that?
Because we're supposed to talk about these things.
I'm saying like it's an obvious answer.
Okay, so hard.
Yes.
Wow, somebody needs some coffee, I think.
No, you just ask stupid questions.
I asked you a question that was pretty, it was a pretty good conversational question, but, do you have a better question you can ask me? How about that?
Yeah. If Antonio Brown is not a Steeler, where do you see him ending up by beginning of this season?
That is really hard to tell. I'm not sure. I really couldn't tell you.
He honestly could go anywhere.
Yeah, there's probably.
Well, I could tell you he's not going in the AFC North.
I think
North.
the Colts.
He's going to stay out of the AFC
Colts
North.
have the money to make a trade where they could maybe alleviate some of that financial implications for this trade, because we know that if they trade or release him, they will owe about $20 million against cap. So that might be an interesting caveat.
But if they do trade him, doesn't that
it would have to be after June for them not to get hit with that cap hit. But that'd be quite a ways into the process. I don't know if they'd want to keep him around that long.
The thing is, I think it would be one of those verbal agreements that like they already know it's going to go down, and then by that deadline they're going to make the trade.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to be like, okay, we know where we're trading him, so as soon as we cannot get this cap hit, we're going to trade him.
Steelers linebacker Bud Dupree told ESPN that Steelers have family issues, and that
like the players,
it appears to revolve around Brown and Ben.
Shocker that Ben Roethlisberger has.
If I told
with
you
teammates.
before this season started that Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown would not be on the team in 2019, what would you have said?
Not surprised.
Really? If I told you before this year started, so in July, I said Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown will not be Steelers in 2019.
They were already there was already cracks forming before the season started. So
well, sure, but I mean, you'd still be somewhat surprised, right?
yeah, a little, but not as much as anyone else. I'd be like, okay, this probably was going to happen sooner rather than later.
Is there any chance that Brown is on the roster when the season begins?
I don't know.
All right. I think this is obviously heading towards a divorce.
Oh, 100%. But what about the children?
So, report yesterday came out that the Cardinals would consider taking Kyler Murray with the number 1 overall pick. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I did.
What is your reaction to this report, considering they took Josh Rosen with the number 11 pick last year?
Kingsbury has said this publicly that he loves Kyler Murray.
He said, quote, if I had the number 1 pick in next year's draft, I would draft Kyler Murray.
So, and
that's what this is about.
What does he have? The number 1 overall pick. And who's available in the draft? Most likely Kyler. Has it been officially declared yet? I don't think so.
He hasn't officially declared, but he will be in the NFL draft, it sounds like. So, what do you think the Cardinals are going to do? Do you find any credibility in this?
If they can get something good for Rosen, then they'll
like
definitely.
What? What is good? What would be good in your opinion?
I think they would ask for at least a first-round pick, but I doubt they're going to get that. So,
don't you kind of feel like a quarterback is kind of like when you buy a new car?
How do you mean?
Like, when you buy a new car, it depreciates like a ton by just driving it off the lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you familiar with like how that works? Like how?
Yeah.
So like you buy a car for like $19,000. Let's just say, I'm just throwing out a number.
Mm-hmm.
When you literally leave the parking lot, it drops already to like $13,000. Like just
I see what you're getting
just
at.
by driving off the lot. So do you kind of think that
Because
quarterbacks
immediately
are the
becomes
same way?
used?
Do you think that quarterbacks are kind of the same way, where their value drops like it's at its highest when you draft them, and then it's not going to be that high until they do something incredible in the NFL?
I agree with that, but what do they like? If they think that Murray's going to be their future, I guess you're going to give away Rosen for pennies on the dollar?
Well, the thing is that if you're the Giants or if you're the Jaguars, what do you give up for Rosen? When you could just draft Haskins, or you know what I mean?
Well, if I'm in the late in the draft, then I'll probably take a
late in the draft. What do you mean?
Like late first round.
Well, obviously, a team that would trade for Rosen needs a quarterback, and they're definitely going to be higher than in the first round. They're going to be like the Redskins, the Jaguars, the Giants.
I was going to say Oakland,
maybe
because
Cincinnati.
they're probably not going to take a quarterback.
Do you think Oakland wants a young quarterback, though? John Gruden's really comfortable with vets.
Yeah, but he needs to get with the times, man.
But he's never had success with young quarterbacks. He's only had success with journeyman.
He's had one.
He had Rich Gannon and Brad Johnson.
Yeah, that's it.
I know, and they were both what? Veterans.
Aged veterans, yeah.
He never really developed a young quarterback. I kind of feel like the Raiders won't draft a quarterback at all. But
we'll see. Honestly,
but let's go back to Rosen. If you're the Giants or the Jaguars and the Cardinals draft Kyler Murray number 1. You have the next pick. You could take Haskins. But the Cardinals call you and say, we'll trade you Rosen. What are you offering them for Rosen? Because remember, you're kind of dealing in the position
So
of power
I'm having
here.
the next pick.
You're the Giant. Let's say you're the Giants.
So you have the 4th, 5th pick.
6th pick.
6th pick. And they're saying you give us Rosen.
They already picked Murray, though. Well, you already know they picked Murray.
A conditional 5th-round pick.
A conditional 5th-round pick. So the Cardinals would flip their 11th pick in the draft for a 5th-round pick?
What else? You're not giving up a first-rounder.
I thought you were saying before that.
Well, I'm saying if it was like the Raiders is one of their
last ones.
Yeah, Bears or Cowboys, because that's a high draft pick.
I don't know what you give up for Rosen.
If my first round pick was 15 or higher, as in like 15 to 32, I would trade a first round pick.
I think Rosen playing this season hurts his value. Not that he can't bounce back, but if he would have had a good season, people might have paid more. But since he had a tough season, they're like, I don't know. It's interesting, though. I don't think this will actually happen, to be quite honest with you. And I say that because the Cardinals general manager drafted Josh Rosen. Kingsbury has the same general manager. The Cardinals didn't change that. So why would the general manager already throw away his first-round pick? Like, if he didn't think...
Okay, so many general managers in the past have immediately...
After 1 year, given up on a quarterback?
I've seen it before.
Who?
Well, I can't think of, like, let's look at Ryan Leaf, for example.
He was given up on after 1 year?
Well, he went 1-15, dude.
And then what happened?
Never seen again.
Never seen again. And he was... So he didn't get another chance? I'm honestly trying to remember. I
don't remember him getting that. He was backups randomly in every random places, but then he...
But Ryan Leaf was also not what Josh Rosen was, right? Like, he was way more of a disaster, right? And he was
still the number 2 pick in
and
the
he
draft.
had some other problems. Like, the dude had some serious issues.
I'm just saying that it's happened before, but I'm saying that you think a general manager is so quick to pull the trigger.
I can't remember that ever happening, to be honest with you. Even if Ryan Leaf is the one.
I'm just saying that general managers pull triggers on stuff very prematurely. You can't deny that.
Oh, I can deny that. I don't remember a general manager ever saying to a quarterback that I picked in the first round, flipping on them after the first year. I definitely can.
But when you have a guy coming in that's like this next huge thing that's like 10 times better than Rosen.
But a lot of scouts say that Rosen's was a better prospect than Kyler Murray coming in. This is a weak quarterback class.
But man, there's 2 pretty good quarterbacks that I feel like are better than Rosen.
Right.
And they probably feel the same way.
I mean, I know that's your opinion, but there's definitely NFL people who say that Rosen would be the number 1 pick if he came out this year, rather than Kyler Murray, because he's a better pro prospect. Kyler Murray, don't get me wrong,
I never really saw it.
Heisman winner. I think he's great, but there are questions about him. He is incredibly small.
There's going to be questions about every single player in the draft.
Right, but come on, don't dilute the argument with that. Of course there is.
What dilute the argument? That's just a fact.
Of course there is.
That's a fact. You just, okay.
Every player is always going to have a question mark. Can he do it at the next level is the one question mark that everyone's going to have, right? But
so what's your point?
My point was that Rosen was considered or is considered a better pro prospect than Kyler Murray, regardless of what they did in college. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but how many times have we said this guy's not pro-ready and became an all-star?
Right, but for Murray, it's not that he's not pro-ready. It's more that he's not sized enough to handle the NFL. Because he probably would be the shortest quarterback that I've ever seen play, if I'm being honest.
Well, you know, there's a first time for everything.
But I absolutely think that general managers have huge egos, and they don't flip on first-round picks right away. And if you do that, you're really saying that you screwed up after 1 year. And it's really hard to just throw away Josh Rosen.
With a new head coach, you want to make it feels like it could happen.
Yeah, but Kingsbury doesn't have any power. Like, that's the thing. They don't care
that
what
we
he
know
says.
of.
No, we know that. We know that. The Bidwell family, Steve Keim, No, Kingsbury is not going to come in and start making decisions out there. We need to take a break, though. When we come back, we have a few more things around the world of sports.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the final segment of the GSMC Sports Podcast. We got to go. We talked about football. We talked about basketball. Now let's go into college basketball as we saw one of the greatest collapses by a team ever.
We did.
UCLA versus Oregon.
Yep, the sixth largest comeback in NCAA history with in regards to the lead going into the final minute. Down 10 points, they came back and they won. UCLA with the epic comeback. What was your first thoughts when you saw this?
I was like, really?
I thought it was kind of funny.
I thought it was like, wow, that's there's no excuse for that, is there?
No excuse. Yeah, no excuse.
Like,
it's pretty bad.
That should be like, okay, we're winning, we're going home.
Especially when you're at home.
Yeah. Like, what?
It did go to OT, but yes, Oregon definitely threw away a game that they should have won.
9 points with less than a minute left. I'm sorry. That game should be sealed.
Did you hear that Tim Tebow got engaged?
I don't really follow people's personal lives, to be honest with you.
Former Miss Universe, Demi Lee Nell Peters. Yes, that's her name. She has 2 hyphens. One her first name,
She's
one
going to
her
have
last
3
name.
hyphens when she names
Demi
herself
Lee Nell Peters Tebow is now engaged to Tim Tebow, the former quarterback, current minor league baseball player. 7.25 carats.
No, yeah, he's no longer a minor leaguer, is he?
I mean, he's still a minor leaguer, right?
Is he?
What would he be?
I thought he was a broadcaster for like the College Football Network or something.
Yeah, I mean, he does that too, but in the offseason, he's still in the minor.
He's technically still a prospect?
Yeah, he might make an appearance in
He's
going to
make one just for ticket sales. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's going to be super curious.
So Tim Tebow, finally, after all these years. Also, Andy Murray retiring at age 31. He's retiring because of his hip injury. I guess he is suffering through a lot of pain.
Well, if you ever had a hip injury, it sucks.
He's a former number 1 tennis player in the world. What do you think about that?
It's sad to see him go so young, but sometimes you do what you need to do to keep your body healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, and the last thing I think we'll end the show on is California has introduced its first THC-infused alcohol-free beer. It launches in San Diego. Your thoughts?
Wait, what?
There is a THC-infused alcohol-free beer.
An alcohol-free beer.
So the beer has no alcohol, but it is loaded with THC.
That seems odd.
10 milligrams.
Damn. That's actually a lot.
How do you know?
10 milligrams?
How do you know? What's a lot? What's a lot of THC? How do you know?
I'm just saying, like, more than, 5 is a lot.
Really?
Why do you always question me? I mean,
What are you gonna say?
Nothing. I can't say it.
I'm questioning you because I just thought it was funny that you knew your dosages.
Well, usually you get when you get like stuff like that. It's not 10. It's like 1 to 5.
Stuff like what?
TH.
All right.
You're a jerk. You know that? You're actually a real jerk.
I know. All right, we gotta go. Join us on Monday where I'll continue to be a jerk and we'll talk sports and everything else that happens this weekend. We have playoff football. We have some NBA games.
Okay, stop talking. Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.